Hello, fine people. Hello on this fine Thursday. And thank you for joining me. A little bit of a late night stream, nothing wrong with that. But here we are in Tabletop Tabletop Simulator, and we are going to start designing a game from scratch. So I would like to highlight some of the processes that I go through when I'm designing a game, what I want to accomplish, what I want to do, what are the mechanics that I want to use, what are the references and the games that I am inspired by in order to try and make a game. So we got music enabled. And we are ready to hop on right in. So I like to start with mechanics and highlight the mechanics that I kind of want to use in the game. Hopefully they enable me to get into a design flow, see what I can do, what's possible, what's not, and limit myself, as well as find some interesting ideas that we could use to highlight what we try to achieve. So, since this is a board game, I'm gonna start thinking about mechanics. So, first off, I would like to have worker placement as one of the mechanics. I would also like to have some exploration in the game and allow users or players to generate their tiles. I want users to be able to auction the tiles so they can take the ones that interest them, go towards a certain strategy, and make the experience more interesting to them and always like refreshing whenever you go and play the game. So we got worker placement, we got exploration, we got the ability for players to generate their tiles and auction those tiles. So what's another thing that we can actually use here? Depending on the tiles, I might have some objectives that might be that could generate you resources and stuff like that during the upkeep phases that I have planned in mind. So the objectives might give resources to people. So you actually have a reason to combat over those tiles, commit to them, maybe even upgrade them. We'll see about that. So for start, we got this. Now, the inspirations for this game, and I'm gonna make a new tab for that. And I'm just gonna give it a different color coding so I know. So the inspiration for these games are a couple of them that I played recently. So one of them is Patch History, which is a really cool civilization type game. If you don't know about it, check it out. I think you might like it. I believe it's a little bit rare. It's a bit of a collector's item, I think. But Patch History is a really good game where you have an ability to make your own canvas made out of little patchwork cards, and everything that you place in your empire is going to bring you resources, going to generate value, is going to allow you to have more options in which you can influence your opponents or raise your growth and stuff like that. So Patch History is one of the games that I definitely want to have as an inspiration here. Then Civilization, New Dawn. I believe that's one of the latest Civilization board games. Not including like Civilization 6, Civilization 7 and all of them. They're basically like board games in a broader term, right? So another one that I'm kind of inspired to try and see if I can pull some inspiration from them is Cascadia. So Cascadia is also a really good game where you can basically make an ecosystem. You can add animals, you can make combinations with those animals that are going to allow you to generate points. But also another cool thing about Cascadia is that you can make certain tiles more valuable and score points based on whether you have the highest number of forests that are connected, the highest number of mountains, deserts, etc. So these are the 3 games that are now my core, and I might pull some inspiration from them. What's there more than I can use to have have some ideas to pull from? I think that's okay for a start. So okay, so some of those games have worker placements. Whoops, let's not delete that. Okay. Let me wait. I can use this. Whoa. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do this right now, and we're just gonna repeat that. So Cascadia, patch history, civilization, New Dawn. Okay, can I now? Okay, now I can. Cool. That's good. I'll be deleting this one because I don't need it and I don't want it to clutter. So we do have mechanics ready. So this game, I think it can be designed for 2 to 6 players, which is ambitious, but I think it could be interesting because you'll see what I have in mind. So the tiles that I want to use are going to be hexagonal. I think that's a really good idea. And hexagonal tiles, in my opinion, just give you like the most balance and the most options that you can play with. If they are in the center of the board, you can go to 6 adjacent squares. If they're on the edge of the board, you can go on a little bit of fewer places, but they are maybe more easily defended. Stuff like that. So, as I already mentioned, so we're gonna have a hexagonal board that we're gonna use, and I already made one of those. I didn't want to do it on stream because, like, I don't want to waste time a little bit, and let's just, like, hop into it. So the reason that I decided to take a board like this is because I feel that every player, in 2-player scenarios, you're going to start on opposite sides. So one of the players is going to start here, right? Another player is going to start on this side. If you go in a game for 3 players, then you're going to be able to start on balanced tiles, so you're all gonna be, like, divided equally. Now, 4 and 5 players might be a little bit of an issue, because, like, you can either start like this, you can start like this. Whoops, okay, let's not do that. In 5-player games, you can start like this. Keep one tile, like, open. Maybe you just don't use it. And in 6-player games, you're always going to have someone in every corner, right? Now, the idea here is I want to start making a design that's going to help players organically connect. Maybe form alliances, maybe like form strategies around combat, being able to exploit one another, stuff like that. So I think this balance just evens it out. And the reason that the middle tile is in a different color coding is because I want to have an objective there that the player who holds it for most turns are gonna score either victory points or resources that are going to allow them to basically open up their playstyle. Right, so you, with those resources, you could basically do, like, whatever you want in the certain scope of the game. Now, how is the map actually going to be generated? We're gonna go back into the notepad for the ideas. So, I want tiles. Okay, tap here works. That's amazing. I want tiles to be able to provide resources. Be they, like, for infrastructure or military resources. I want tiles to allow players to build on them, improve them, And I also want to have an idea where you can combine tiles in order to make some really powerful generators that are going to allow you to experience the game a little bit more and find new ways to do stuff, right? So tiles can also be improved. Now, what do I think about this? What do I think about this? So one of the ideas that I have, I already said, like, we want to have the players able to auction tiles. So every time a round starts, I want players to be able to... No, we're not going to go here. We're going to go into the saved objects. I want the players to, like, have a selection of tiles that they can use, auction them, and then use those tiles in order to, like, improve their empire. All of these tiles would be different. So some of them would, let's say, have a green color, which would signify that these are either open fields or maybe forests. I would want to have a gray tile that's going to enable players to have access to, like, some resources that are probably going to be like either a mountain or something different. Okay, maybe not that color. That's really not the best. Just give me a second. I want to... Actually, okay, let's use that for now. Like, we can optimize and fix that later. Maybe like a water tile that the player can use in order to gain access to some resources like waters. And basically every time there is a round, players are gonna be able to beat these tiles, so these are always gonna be, like, connected. Players are gonna be able to auction these tiles, and then they're going to be able to place them in their empire. And this would basically mean what their influence is, and what they are able to get as resources for next rounds in order to start their engines, generations, and all of the other things. Right. So I think that's an interesting concept. A lot of games use it, like Civilization, the board game, uses it because the way that you explore the other outer tiles, you always get something that you can place. It has some generated stuff on it that you can use. They can be resources, they can be barbarian tribes, they can be natural wonders. And they could basically allow you, you know, to start building towards some either momentum or idea that you want to implement. Now, of course, depending on the players, these styles are gonna be either more fought over, there might be more rare, some of them might be super interesting, but it also kind of brings me to the turn order, right? And how the turns play out. So at the start, I want players to have upkeep phases. This is where they're going to generate all of the resources that are available to them. The next thing in the phase, I want them to have auctions. Players are going to be able to auction tiles, starting with the first player who is in the turn order, and they can commit resources in order to obtain tiles. Now, this already, like, brings a natural bit of a conflict in the game design, because you want players to fight over what they want to take. Like, someone might pass a good tile, someone might bait you into taking another tile. But the way I want this to balance itself out is that the first player in the next round is always going to be the player who picked the auction tile last. So this gives you a little bit of more of a preparation, where you can pass up a few tiles if you don't think that you can take them, they're not going towards your plan. But you are going to have more resources starting the next round because you saved them during this auction phase, right? So let's just segment this a little bit. So these are the phases of the turn order. So you have the upkeep. We already mentioned that. Can we actually bold this? Let me just check really quickly. No, we can't. Okay, that's it. That's perfectly fine. So then we have tile placement, where the players are going to place the tiles in their kingdom. Then we have the influence phase, where the players might take control of some tiles that are nearest to them. Then we might have a movement phase. Then we might have combat. And then we might have some like additional ideas for phases that I might design later. So ideas might pop and like spring into action, maybe like get forgotten about, maybe overlooked, maybe something new comes up to my mind. And hopefully it's interesting enough to keep the players invested. So how would you win in this game, right? Let's actually just like segment this. I don't want this to be like a 14-page file. So victory. Let's think about victory conditions a little bit. So because the players might have conflict, they might have combat and stuff like that, what do I want players to be able to achieve, and what do I want to do in order to prevent players from like being pushed out of the game, maybe blocked from doing anything, and like spending 40 minutes of the rest of the game just like basically, you know, standing still and not being able to either make a comeback or anything similar. So first off, I want to have multiple victory conditions that might open up more playstyles. This also like doesn't block players when they feel that that one victory is unavailable to them. They might switch to a different type of objective and they might reach it. So how would I want to score this? So first off, we have victory points. Victory points are going to decide who wins if the game reaches the land end. Another one of victories that we might have, holding 3 crucial objectives for 3 rounds. I will get into this a little bit later. I had some brainstorming ideas about how I want to approach this, and now I'm basically just like rushing through the basis of the design in order to be able to go into a little bit of a deep dive, right? So for anyone in the chat, can you just like please tell me if the music is balanced and if you can hear me proper? Thank you very much. I would really appreciate that. So another one that I would kind of like to have that I think would be interesting is that you could have goals that you need to accomplish during the game. So they would basically be like bonus objectives that if you complete, I don't know, let's say 4 of them, you start the last round, and if you are uncontested, you win. So we have multiple ways at which you can achieve victory. One of them is basically just like victory points at the end of the game. Another one is that you are holding 3 crucial objectives for 3 rounds, so you were able to defend them. No one was, the entirety of the other players weren't able to really like, you know, pile up on you and prevent you from winning. And another one, let's call it an infrastructure victory, is if you are able to do the goals that were dealt to you and that you were going to be able to pick up during the game. So that's the victory. These are the basic ideas. These are the inspirations for the game. So, what I also like to have is tiles and how those tiles work. So, tile ideas. Since they are all hexagonal, we have basically like one tile is going to be one resource, right? So what do we want to have? So we could have wood that's going to generate you building material. We can have wheat that's going to generate you food for maintenance. We can have mines that can generate you gold that you can use to maybe enable some other actions. We'll get to it. We can have rivers that are also going to be able to provide you with, let's say, food for starters. But rivers are a weird idea because they are also like defensive tiles. So you can use them to corral your opponents into, let's say, either a very important spot. You can use them to slow down your opponents. Now, I also want to have special tiles that are going to be buildings that might be like natural wonders. And let's keep at it right now. Okay, maybe not natural wonders, but like stronger resource tiles. So you might find a super farm that's gonna be able to give you like 2 or 3 times the amount of wheat that you would usually generate from your first tile. So all of these tiles are going to be like randomly generated. They are going to be made, hopefully balanced out. Taking a bit of tea there, hope you don't mind. Now, what could we actually like already improve? So, okay, we have the basic mechanics that we wanted the players to be able to use. We have defined for how many players we want to create the game. We have the tiles, how they are going to work, what you could do. Oh yeah, improvements. Okay, I'll get back to that right away after we cover this so far. So we also have the turn order. You're gonna get your upkeeps. You're gonna generate resources that are available to you. You have the auction phase, that you are going to be able to commit resources. You have tile placement. You can then influence those tiles for the next round. Because the upkeep phase, this is important because you generate only from influenced tiles. Then we can have a movement phase. If you have units on board, you can move them. You can take some strategic points. Then we can have combat if 2 players are on the same tile or you want to, you know, take over something from another player. And I'm actually gonna delete this. I don't think this game is gonna need more than maybe like 1 more phase. Or like add another phase if really necessary. I hope that's spelled that way. Hopefully it is fine. So how do I want this to work? How do I want actually this to work? So we can also improve our tiles. And the idea that I want to have with improving tiles is that you can either build something on them. So you can build a building that's going to be able to generate you more resources. You can maybe build a defensive structure that's going to help you make more influence around. So you're going to take the more the board. You're going to become the priority for others to deal with. And another thing that I kind of want to do with this, I want players to be able to like really, you know, minimax what they want to accomplish. So you can also make improvements. We mentioned that. You can make buildings. And let's keep at it. Let's keep at it like that. Let's keep at it like that for now. So another one that we're going to add. These are the buildings. Actually, build, improve. So the buildings that we might have. One of them could be a farm. Like, this is going to bring you +1 food if in an area that you control or influence. Let me just, like... bonuses? Based on if an area... based off if area is under your influence. Okay. So these are going to be improvements, and I'll get to buildings a little bit later. We're gonna have farms. We might have, I don't know, like what could we use for like generating more gold that it's not, let's say, a bank. Let's call it the workers' hut, right? No, actually, we can do something really elegant. Like, we don't need to make separate improvements for everything. We can just make a workers' hut, which is going to give you +1 resource based on where it's built. So this is basically like the little houses in Monopoly, right? They're going to give you a little bit of bonuses, but instead of like making a separate building for like the mine, the forests, the wheat farms, and all of that, we're just going to like take one simple concept and apply it to more different aspects of the game. So those are the improvements that you can have. And improvement... Actually, I'm not gonna go into balance right now. I'm gonna go into balance a little bit later. Okay. So... apologize. What are the buildings that the players can make? So here's another idea that I kind of pulled from Civilization. I think the districts that... I believe they were implemented in Civilization 5 first, and then they also shown in Civilization 6. I think that those districts are a cool idea. Also, the board game also has them. They are able to, you know, enable you more tempo. They're going to enable you to use more of your resources, ideas, and stuff like that. So maybe I would like to have, you know, a church. I might have barracks. I might have a defensive tower. I might have a bank. So what could we have additionally, right? Maybe like, I don't know, court, main hall, something like that. Okay, let's keep it 4 of these, right, for the start. Let's keep it 4 for start. So the church might be able to, you know, allow you to be more proactive in the following turns after you build it, because you're going to be able to control a few aspects of the game. Like, you are going to be able to affect the predictions that are going to come, and you might have more insight than other players. The barracks are going to allow you to either generate more troops or make your troops stronger. The defensive tower is going to be strictly like, you know, I want to hold this part of the area, and I want it to influence everything around, so it amounts to my resource generation. The bank might allow you to, you know, change resources if you want to. You are missing on food, you want to exchange gold or wood for food. Actually, bank is not the right term for that. That could be the market. Okay. So the market is going to allow you to exchange resources between players. That might be an interesting idea. Because, you know, always a player might give you something, you might give them something in return. But players can also like veto you and say, okay, we don't want to give you the resource that you want. In which case, you might actually try to influence them a little bit more. Okay, maybe I'll add that gold into that mix so you can give me like 2 food. So this is an idea that we use in order to make some friction between the players and interactions. So the defensive tower is going to influence tiles around it. And it's also going to add, like, let's say, +2 defense when defending in area you influence. Barracks are going to allow you to generate troops or maintain more troops. Maybe that, like, the more barracks that you have, the more army that you can create in the game. And that's going to allow you to, like, open up the board. So the barracks are going to be focused a little bit more about you taking the board and the resource that you want, and maybe being a little bit more flexible and oppressive to other players. While the defensive tower is going to be able to... is going to allow you to generate certain resources that you want to have during the entirety of the game. And, like, Church is going to be able to give you, like, influence predictions. Yeah, influence predictions. So, what do I mean here when I say, like, influence predictions? So, some games have concepts that you have random decks, right? That are going to be shown every time there is an upkeep phase. So, like in Magic the Gathering, you're going to draw your cards, and you're going to see what's available. So, you will always have more resources available at the start of your turn, like, logical. Here, I kind of want to have the following thing. At the idea, at every upkeep, there is a card that is drawn that is going to influence the following turn. So, these are going to be dubbed the prophecy cards. And I am going to make a separate tab for them. Cards. They are drawn at the upkeep phase. They influence the current turn. And they can be, maybe let's say, farms generate +1 resource this turn. So that's one of them. Another might be mines generate +1 gold this turn. Forests generate +1 wood this turn. So what could be additional, like towers provide +1 defense this turn. Units have +1 power this turn. And this can, you know, alternate. There could be a couple of them. There could be some that, like, either give you an ability to generate all from farms or mines. You could generate like one tile generates double values. So if you have an improvement, you wouldn't get like 2 resources, you would get 4 resources. So it will really like give you a bump and allow you to get even more value. And this would be the tile that the player chooses what tile gets the bonus. Now, the church can do the following things. You can see upcoming cards and exchange them. So how would this exchange work? Basically, you have your resources, and you spend your resources to influence the following turns. So you might pay, let's say, one food in order to find a card that's going to be able to allow you to generate 4 food or even more. Right? So you're making a little bit of an investment. You're basically like appealing to the gods. Give me the rains. give me a bountiful harvest and all of that, to make my warriors stronger. And again, this just allows you to open up your playstyle a little bit more. So what happens if more than one player has a church? I'm gonna ignore that for right now, because these might be like special buildings, right? These might be something that you can build only once in a game, and whoever does that has that, let's say, in their arsenal. And others might actually want to try to force out either different buildings, different objectives, or take these objectives for you. So, like, you could build this church and you could lose it during the game, and it could fall onto the influence of another player. Which comes here to the prophecy cards. You can steal one tile from another player this turn. So every player would be able to, you know, just like pick a tile that someone else has, steal the effect from it, and either mess up someone or open up additional opportunities. This might be a little bit of an overkill, because you could pile up on one player and he could basically like lose a turn. I'm kind of skeptical about this one. So I'm gonna leave a little bit of a symbol there to remind me what I was talking about. This could bar players from having a meaningful turn. Consider. There we go. So we have buildings. These, yeah, this could be like, some of these could be unique, some couldn't be. Let's actually like separate it, right? So we're going to take this. We're going to copy it and place it here. So these can be built multiple times. These are very specific buildings that you are going to be able to just like make, and they're going to be yours for the rest of the game. So you might make a bank that's going to generate you 2 gold per turn. Another building that we might actually make is like a wall. That's basically an improvement that the other opponents cannot pass through unless they reach a certain power level with their troops, right? Blocks entry for troops under, let's say, 3 power for now. So what are the additional buildings that we might have here? So we have a church, we have a bank, we have a wall. We might, let's say, have a fishery. Sure, let's call it like that. Let's get into some fishy business. Grants you 2 food from a river tile. So river tiles aren't accessible, and they can be used to block your opponents from either approaching you, maybe defending some strategic, you know, objectives. But this way, you can actually build something that's going to generate value from them. Now, another thing that like already pops into mind, whenever you kind of have games that are going to, you know, have tiles that can be placed like this and that they go, oops, that can like bar stuff like that, you always ask the question like, how do I prevent, or do I want to prevent players from completely blocking themselves out, right? So if we make an additional tile here, and let's color code it so it's blue. Wait, can I actually get a little bit of a, like, stronger color there? I don't think this is gonna be visible enough. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this for now. So, I'm going to, like, make this tile so I can showcase what I'm talking about. So, in the terms of the game right now, if a player would be able to, you know, just like bar themselves from the rest of the world by doing this, they're gonna be locked out of the game. I want to prevent that. I think this would be just like a very bad thing that can happen. And games can have these if they are either like someone overlooked something or maybe made them on purpose. It's basically a deadlock, right? Sorry, soft lock. It's a soft lock. You cannot progress in the game because, like, the mechanics of the game aren't allowing you to progress further. Because within the mechanics of the game, you did something that, like, just, like, debilitated you, right? So the thing that I want to do is the following. The tiles that the players are gonna auction are never going to be like river tiles. They are never going to be able to, like, auction river tiles. And this is what I'm, like, mentioning. A good thing is... Okay, so I didn't talk about that. So when you first learn to, like, playtest games and learn about balancing games, finding issues in software testing, finding bugs like that, that is a really good starting point because it's going to influence how you approach games and design later. You might already start thinking about, okay, this might be an issue. How can I make a workaround around it? A workaround around it. That's a weird way to put it. You can make a workaround. So the idea that I have is that if you have tiles like these, and let's say you place a tile like this, because we are, like, playing with three connected hexagonal tiles, that cannot be spawned here on the board, right? You could do this, but this tile is always going to be inaccessible. So whenever something like that happens, I want the players to be able to, like, whoops. Okay, that was a bit of an error from me. I want the players to, like, be able to fill the board. And this player would, let's say, now get a water tile here. Unfortunately, it's not the shade of blue that I would like to see. But, like, yeah, we can here see that this is a blue and this is green. So this would become a water tile, right? So coincidentally, if this player would place another tile here, they would generate another water tile here. So these are actually, like, these are actually really not that clear. Is this gonna help? No, not really. Okay, I need to find a workaround in Tabletop Simulator to be able to showcase what I want to achieve and do with these. But if the player, like, makes a tile and another tile cannot be placed there, they are going to generate a water tile. So this will, let's say, be a very strong defensive position, because this player would have, like, only one side from which they could be approached. But also, this would make their openings much more difficult. They would find problems with finding resources, spreading that influence, and additionally, like, let's just take a component that's going to showcase what I mean. Let's say, yeah, okay, let's take Knight of the Nail, right? If a player is having influence on the board on a place like this, he is not going to be able to take resources from the water tiles because they don't provide any bonuses. Unless you have fisheries, right? So, like, in a sense, water tiles, I want them to be dead zones that you can plan around and that you can find either detrimental for other players or super useful to you. Because, like, if this player now has this position and they can actually squeeze out, like, 2 fisheries here, they would be able to generate a lot of food that would help them kickstart their economy, right? So, let's see now. So, right now, I think we have enough that's going to be able to showcase how a turn is going to occur. So let me just like see if I can fix this a little bit. I think I have a way in which I can do that. I just need to set this up a little bit, right? So okay, so this is a 3D model, but the color coding on it is going to be different. Like, can I do this? No, maybe not. Oh wait, if I do this and like color tint it, is it gonna be visible? It looks ugly as hell, but it kind of looks ugly as hell, but it could work. Wait, I have an idea. So if I flip this and put this on top, hey, we can actually work with that. I feel like we can work with that. I just like need to check if this is going to screw up the rest of it. No, there we go. Okay, we are in the driver's seat, ladies and gentlemen. So we can actually do this. Okay, that's actually really cool. I like that. It's gonna be a bit like a weird issue, right? But I think we can make this work. That's the important part. Come on, allow me to take this tile. No, I don't want that. I want to select this one. Yeah, give me that. So, dark green are gonna be forests. Okay? That's the first one. Oops. Okay, let's fix that really quick. Come on! Come on! Allow me to select you. Okay, there we go. Color. So we said that the dark green was gonna signify that this is a forest. So, okay, let's just... let's combine these two elements so I don't get them separated again. Okay, that works. That kind of works. It fits our purpose right now. So let's save this object and let's call it a forest base tile. Coincidentally, I'm going to make a couple more of them. So this one is going to be blue because that's the single tile for the water, right? No! Ah, okay, this... I know what I need to do. Okay, I'm just going to make another... I'm going to make the same object. And just like do it, you know, manually 5 times. It is what it is. We don't mind it. Whoops. Come on, apply. No, I don't want... Okay, you go here. And we're going to color tint you. We're going to give you the blue treatment. And then we are going to... Now we are going to copy this before it is merged. So I can edit each color separately. So now we're going to combine these two. Are they combined? Yes, they are. We're going to save this object as a water tile. I'm going to take this. I'm going to give it a... Oops, not that. I'm going to give it a gray area. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Then we're going to save this object. We're going to call it a mountain tile. Did we... We didn't, so I'm gonna combine them right now. So another one that we might have, I'm going to color code this one so it's like yellow. So these are going to be the farms, right? Now I know that did I make the mountain tile? Okay, I did. Oh, I didn't. Okay, and now I know what the issue was. I'm going to save this right now. It's going to be mountain tile. And I'm going to overwrite it. Okay, so we have a hex tile. Sorry, we have a forest-based tile. We have a mountain tile. We have a water tile. Let me just... like, can I rename these? Can I rename these here? I'm not sure. Like, F2? No, F2 doesn't do that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now we are going to combine these two. Come on. Come on. Allow me to do this. Okay. Good enough. Are these connected right now? No, they are not. I'm going to need to do this a little bit more clean. Did you connect right now? Okay. Okay, now I might be able to do it, right? There we go. There we go, now we have it. Cool. Now this is going to be the farm tile. Actually, I'm gonna start naming them this way so it's a little bit more organized. So, do I have anything particular that I want to have now, right? Oh yeah, I might actually do. So, I'm going to take this one and I'm gonna color code it like a very like light green. Why am I doing this? Because I want players to auction these tiles so they can build buildings around them. So in that sense, if you want to go to a certain strategy, you need to take a tile that you're going to need to make a manual improvement, right? I don't want players to like, okay, I just bought any tile, and I'm racing the other player to see if I can get enough resources next turn in order to, like, let's say, place a church or a barracks or something like that. Buildings, I would like them to be able to be built only on these, like, light green tiles. So you're basically weakening your auctions and the resources that you might get for the next round. But you are going to be able to get a tile that you're going to build your empire on. You can build specific things on these tiles. Hopefully that makes sense. There we go. And we're gonna save that, and we're gonna save tile buildable. So, okay, we have the basic tiles. We have the forest tile, we have the water tile, we have the mine tile, we have the farm tile, and we have the building tile. And actually, like, I'm actually curious, like, can I... No, I need to remember not to do that. Did we save this? Hopefully we did. Okay, tile buildable, yeah, we did. Okay, that's cool. Like, Control Z is just like one of the go-tos you go for, but this time it becomes a bit detrimental. How did you blokes get there? I mean, I know the map is not ideal, it's a physical object, but like, how did you go to the bottom of the map? Okay, so cool. So the next thing I want to check, like, can I actually like write something on these tiles? No, it registers below. Okay, so it registers below, right? Yeah, I don't want that. Let's rewind 11 seconds. Okay, there we go. Like, this works now. Okay, so I might actually off stream, like, do some do like some simple drawing in order to like showcase, okay, this is a river, this is a forest, this is a mountain, this is a farm, and this is a tile where you can build on. Speaking of which, let's get back into the notepad that we have here and take this and say the following. Improvements. Improvements can be built only on tiles that generate basic resources. And those basic resources are gold, food, wood. Buildings can be built only on buildable tiles, which are light green. So we define that, and I think it's a good idea. I think that's fine. So let's make actually a couple of tiles so that players know what they can do. So I'm just going to take these three, and I'm going to... Can we actually lock them? No, lock doesn't do that. Lock does not do that. No, we're not gonna lock you. No, we're just gonna like do this again. And another one. Okay, there we go. Now we have that. So this is one of the first tiles we're gonna combine, right? So now we have this. And I'm just like going to maybe like this. I'm gonna click this one because I don't need it right now. Come on. Come on. Whee! There we go. Okay, always fun to do that. So, okay, objects. Saved objects. So we are gonna have like two tiles that are going to be able to, you know, allow you to build stuff. No, we're not gonna flick that right now. Let's go for this. Let's go for a mountain into a forest-based tile. This can also be a forest tile. Actually, let's see, like, if we have, like, multiple buildable tiles, like, is it actually a good thing to do? This is something that, like, it always needs to be, like, tested to see, like, whether balance is good. So, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We need an additional tile. We need an additional tile. So, like, say, 2 mountains. Whoops. 2 mountains in a forest. Let's go for that. And we need an additional one. That's okay, what are we like missing? Let's say, okay, you want to kickstart your food. There are 2 tiles that are going to give you food, and there is a forest tile that's going to give you wood. Right? Okay. Or resources, like. It doesn't matter, like. So now we are combining these. And now all of these should be... Fuck it off. So all of these should now be tiles that are going to be able to be auctioned so that the players can see what they want to pick. So, okay, at the beginning of the game, you don't have much, right? You might have some starting resources, you might have some influence that you can use, but right now we don't have anything that's going to allow you to like bid tiles and actually like compete with other players. So let's say if an idea, this is like, let's say round 3, round 4, the red player has a few things that he can use to, you know, let's use go pieces, yeah. That he can use to auction tiles. And another player has a resource like one player is gonna say, hey, I want to bid this tile, right? So other players, if they don't have resources, they aren't going to be able to take that tile from that player. But the red player here, who has 2 go tiles, he can say, okay, I'm going to like butt you out of this, and I'm going to reserve this tile for myself. Now this player, there is a thing that they can do. If they have more resources, they could take these 3. Let me just like rotate this a little bit more. And they can steal that tile from the other player. Like, so the other player would now be forced to like take their go pieces that represent currency in this situation. And they would need to swap to another tile. So this is a really cool mechanic that when you have a game that is going to revolve around tiles and exploration, like Patch History kind of has it. You can always try to outbid the other player as long as you have the cash to continue doing that. And I want to have this in this game, but I kind of want to make a little bit of a twist. Here's why. You are always going to like you're always going to get a tile that's gonna give you like three resources or tiles or anything that you're gonna be able to place on your board, right? I want players to actively ask themselves this question. So, if I place 2 resources here, someone can steal this tile from me. Right? But, if you do the following, hey, I'm gonna pay this tile with 3 resources, then no one can steal the tile from you. Right? So you're all-inning. You are investing resources in order to get something that could be a really valuable tile to yourself. So I kind of feel like this is going to balance that idea of like, I'm going for a little bit of a slow start where I'm just gonna explode like a few turns later. Or going for a strong economic start that's going to allow you to generate a ton of resources, but maybe not get the tiles that are going to allow you to build buildings that you might want to have in order to achieve your victory. So I think that could be an interesting idea. But like for simplicity's sake, let's first do the following. So player red took, let's say, this tile, right? And he's going to place it. Let's say they place it like this. Right? And that's currently what they've done. So another player going to the left, now in this order, is maybe going to like place their tiles like this. And this is going to be his empire. This player, purple, is going to go for like heavy farm production. This player is maybe gonna go for something like a bit of a balanced start. Come on, fix yourself. There we go. The pink player is maybe going to go for like some combinations. Maybe he wants to start his infrastructure because he has a mountain tile, he has a wood tile. He's gonna get gold, he's gonna get wood or other resources, and he might be able to like make a building. And this player, like, he takes the last thing, which is sometimes a good thing. And here's why. Because we already defined that the last player who picked the tile is gonna be able to, like, bid in the next round. So they are stockpiling their resources in order to be able to, like, purchase something a little bit later. And right now, we have a start that every player like has something equal. They might start to devise their strategies. They might start to think about, okay, what do I want to do here? But the important thing is that the board is starting to fill up. Like, this is a concept that I personally think is very fun in games, because you can work around it. You can screw with other players, right? And you can like make really good and tactical decisions based on what you want to accomplish. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to like just make the identical tiles in order to showcase something different. So, okay, this goes here. This goes here. This goes here. So this is the next round. So, okay, first, we have the following. So, if we go into our notebook, we have how the phase is going to occur. So first up, we had upkeep. We didn't generate any resources right now because we first skipped to the auction phase. But right now, we did the auction phase, we did the tile placement, and now we're going into the influence phase. So in the influence phase, each player is going to get the resources from the tiles that they control. For ease of access, I'm gonna say that, like, now, this is a combat unit, besides representing, like, who the player currently is. No, don't fall. This is what the player influences, and they are always going to be influenced like a unit, and all of the spaces around that unit in one hex tile. So this unit would be controlling these tiles, like, so the green one, the darker green one, and these 4 white tiles. But because these 4 white tiles aren't discovered yet, they're not gonna generate anything, right? So this player would be able to generate 1 wood and 1 farm. Sorry, not 1 wood, but 1... yeah, 1 food and 1 resources. So we are going to give them, like... I mean, sure, we can use these. We can use this. I'm just gonna color code them a little bit different so we know what we're talking about. So this is going to be like a food token. We're gonna scale this down so we know what we are talking about. I'm going to make 2 identical copies of this object. And then I'm going to just, like, change colors. So this one is gonna be gray. And this one is going to be brown. Where's the brown? Where's the brown? Where's the brown? Oh, that sucks. Oh, no. That's bad. That's basically invisible. Okay, we're not gonna do that. Oh, no, it's invisible because I did this. Silly me. Okay, so we're going to save this object. We're going to call it a wood chip. Or a resource chip. Chip. Resource. We are going to name this one. Yep. What did I do? No! Wait. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think I like it. Did anything. So this is going to be chip money. And this is going to be chip Xanath. not Xanath. A bit of a reference for the Get the Gear fans. So this is chip food. So, okay. So now that we said this player... okay. So this player generated 1 food. And they generated 1 wood. This player, if I'm not mistaken, generated 1 mountain and 1 gold, and generated one. Delete yourself. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I entered the... oh no, I fell down and I can't get up. Okay, finally. Okay. Okay, my brain just, like... my brain froze there for a moment. Wait, actually this... like... if there is this lightning, I kind of want to see if I can change the background. Okay, let's see if we change the background, we're gonna get a little bit of a, like... more visible. Okay, that could... honestly, that kind of works. I dig that. Okay, so this player generated a food chip, and they generated a resource chip. This player generated only a resource chip. 1. This player generated a wood chip and 2 gold. And this player generated 2 food. And I believe that's a resource tile, yeah. Okay, so this was the part of the game that I say that, like, I want players to be able to, like, generate resources based on what they've taken. Right? Additionally, now they can transfer these resources in order to be able to, like, auction additionally in the next rounds. I might add a rule based on, like, I want every resource to be used kind of for something. Like, I want money to be used to auction tiles. I want wood or resources to be used to build buildings. I want food to be able to, like, get used for something different. I need to think about these things. So, like I said, so design usually isn't just like a fixed process. For me, it usually, like, you start doing something comes up to your mind, you try to realize on it, you try to see how it would work, how it would function. Maybe you get on the right track, maybe you don't. Like, it's basically like a trial and error, right? So it's a trial and error in a sense that you're always going to, like, go through some type of uncharted territory. And you're going to find inspiration, you are going to find things that don't work, that look interesting, but on paper they just don't function. And coincidentally, things that, like, on paper look terrible, but when put to practice, they achieve incredible results. That is also something that can happen. So, okay, we did this. So now, I'm just gonna return you here in order to highlight the next phase. And now we go into the movement phase. So players have their units, and they're able to move, like, on the board in order to be able to, like, spread their influence for the next turn. Now, why is this kind of a little bit important, and why I'm kind of a little bit, like, worried about this mechanic? Let's say everyone moves. Let's say every player moves. And this is something that happens. Deciding that you maybe want to move in a certain direction. Players might take that as, like, an aggressive attitude. This player has an open slot, he might build a barracks, he might get some, like, combat focus, and he might start going towards this player in order to try to exert influence over their area, and maybe steal some of their resources, right? So, what are the potential, like, ideas that we can play around with? So the next round for list station arrived. And I believe we started with the red player. I believe the purple player was the last to act. So the purple player is now going to be the head of the auction. He can basically, like, go and say, okay, I want to take these tiles, right? This tile, not these, like, this tile. You get what I mean. So, okay, he says, like, okay, I have wood, I have resources, I have money, I have... Pardon me, I kind of, like, forgot that the bloke also has 1 money. Now, they say the following. I want to take a tile that's gonna allow me to build a building. So they might actually take this, and now think whether they want to place it. So they're basically between a rock and a hard place. It's kind of very difficult for them to decide. And here's why. If they place this here, they're opening up towards the red player, right? They have 1 less turn to defend themselves, maybe against the red player, if he is able to, you know, just, like, hop in over here. And I'm gonna showcase that right now. So let's say this player makes and places his tiles here. Is this, like... is this fine? Let me just, like, move it a little bit, like, here. I'm gonna say it's fine. I'm gonna say it's fine. Like, this is prototyping. These things can happen. So, now the purple player placed his tile here, which means the following. We know that this tile is not gonna be able to be taken. Like, you cannot do this, right? We can't do this. That's not something that we are able to achieve. So that means that they are going to take a where are you? Custom, no. Saved objects. Okay, water tile. Yeah. So that means that he's going to get a water tile here, which can be good for them, which could be bad for them. We'll see in the long run. Right, so we are still prototyping. We are not considering ourselves out of balance. We'll see how the things go. So that was the first player. Now the red player has the initiative. Oh, sorry. I made a mistake. So this player auctioned this tile, and let's say he already purchased it. And we'll say that he placed it. Come on. What's wrong? Okay, there we go. Like, that's fine. Okay, so the red player purchased this. We'll say that the green player purchased this. We'll say that the purple player purchased this. We're gonna turn this off a little bit. That this player, let's say, purchased this. And what's remaining to the pink player is the following thing. Right. So I kind of like jumped the gun a little bit on that. But like, okay, that's what happens. So here's another thing that can happen that I kind of think is cool. This player now connected these areas, right? Let's see if we can just like squeeze that in here. Let's say this works. Okay, so this player connected these areas, which means that these are unusable spaces that we can use. No. Okay, that didn't like that didn't destroy everything. I'm fine with that. I'm still getting used to this project a little bit. Sorry, not project, but tabletop simulator. So we know that these tiles are not going to be able to be used. So these are also going to be additional fishing tiles that someone can exploit if they make a fishery. So in a sense, maybe the blue player is going to go for like some economy. He's going to make a fishery here. He's going to get a constant generation of food as long as he influences this area. He might make a tower here that's going to like say that all of these tiles like generate stuff. We're gonna turn this off. Place ourselves a little bit here. What is this? You go there. So this player is playing the hard economy game, right? He's going to be able to put this here. Come on. Oh, come on. Come on, boy. We know he's there. We don't care about that. This player maybe he has a strategy. He maybe wants to rush to the center to see if like he can start getting this objective. And speaking of which, I wanted to do that. I kind of forgot about it. My bad. So maybe we want to have something there that's like going to say, hey, this is a very important piece. I want, to be there. Like, okay. Yeah, that looks nice. So maybe this player is actually rushing towards the center to see if he can actually hold the area. Like, for 3 turns. Ooh, that gave me actually an idea. That actually gave me an idea right now. So we can go into the notebook. And we can say, like, builds and improvements. We can actually say that you have stables, which is going to allow your units to move an additional slot. Units can move an additional slot. So if you want to go for an aggressive game, you maybe want to take stables, because they're going to be allow you to reach your goal much faster. You can rush players, you can go and take objectives, you might do something, right? Let me just like I wanted to write this. Okay. Water tile provides no bonuses. Automatically generated if 3 by hexagon tile is unable to be placed. So okay, we got that. There was something here that I kind of wanted to elaborate a little bit on. Oh, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. So this player is also like going to go and maybe do this because he wants to like close the distance. Maybe go for like a bit of a defensive game. Maybe like make a defensive tower here in order to like maximize the most influence here. And the pink player is going to maybe like start contesting the middle a bit. Yeah, I think that's fine. So now that we finished the upkeep phase, now that we finished the auction phase and the tile placement phase, we can now do a couple of additional things. So what are some of those things that we can do? Influence phase. In the influence phase, I'm actually going to like add buildings or improvements if exerting influence on adjacent, sorry, not adjacent, desired area. Okay, so let's now see what the board looks like. So the board now, we have some players that are in contact, we have some players that might be rushing towards the middle, we have some players that are maybe playing their long game, they want to start trying to do some stuff up, right? And now we start, because the purple player was the first who placed the tile, they get to play first. So, okay, they say like, okay, I got gold, I got wood, I got food. I am going to, let's say, use some of those resources in order to make a tower. Like, the red player is here, they might be feeling like the red player kind of like wants to steal something from them. So, they want to prevent that. They are going to take a rook, which is a tower. They're going to place it here, which means that the purple player now influences. Can I actually change the color of this? Yeah, we can. Wait, can we actually get like... Oh, wait a second, like, can I actually get better results with a metal piece? Always a big metal fan. No, not really, I feel like. This? No, not really. Oh well. I mean, that works. So, we know that this player now influences... this is the tower that they are controlling. And they influence this domain. So, they're going to be able to generate resources from all of these tiles. And additionally, the tiles, if some tiles were present here, right? So now the real red players, he sees they are a little bit of a pinch. So they might decide what they want to do. The red player currently might remain here in order to gain like resources from these two slots from for the next round, right? Additionally, they might move here. Whoops. They might... Okay, we know where they are. They might move here in order to generate these resources and maybe like make a building here. So let's say they are going to build a fishery here, and I'm going to see if I can color code this to be red. That's kind of not like that's kind of not what I was going for, but like it works. Okay, so this player just like he's going to apparently fall from the sky. This player is just like going to remain here, and he's going to hoard a lot of resources. Additionally, like they might move here in order to get like maybe some different resources. They don't need that much gold. Like they might not now need like other resources. So this tile wouldn't be under their influence right now. So this player now is going to start rushing towards the middle because he wants to take that main objective, right? And this player, let's say that they use their resource and they are going to build, let's say, the barracks. So I'm going to use something to represent the barracks. Can we take this? Yeah, sure. Okay, so this player built a barracks here. Now, because the barracks is a building, it's also going to generate influence. So even though this tile is outside of the player's current reach, because they have a building here, like, it's going to be controlled. And, okay, that kind of showcases the idea what the exploration, how it starts, like, what happens. So, first off, like, this board is gonna be filled, like, super easily, right? Because there are multiple ideas that you can use to approach, like, board generation. Or, sorry, tile generation this game. I'm gonna take one tile in order to, like, showcase that, hopefully. No. Okay, we're not gonna do that. Can we? No! No. Okay, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Like, wait. Like, can we, like, rewind? No, we don't want to Actually, can we rewind? I mean, technically not much. Technically not worse, but... Hey, I don't mind it. I don't hate it. So, yeah. It was like this, right? It was something like this. I don't remember. Okay, cool. This player was also here. This was here. This player was here. Oh, they're actually standing on their place. Now this, what happened here was a little bit of a shitstorm. Pardon my French. So, let me see, like, if I can actually, like, fix this right now. Okay, there we go. Okay, we did the... No! No! I didn't want to do that! Okay, quickly, rewind time. Okay. Better than what I've done. Oh, no. Oh, man. Oh, this was... Ouch. Okay, this was... This was painful. How did you end up there? Okay, now I found the tile. That's the important thing. So, I believe this was like this. This was here. Oh, come on. Don't be so rude, game. There we go. This was here. Yeah, this was here. This was here. Good. Cool. Good enough. It's fine. It's fine. And this rook was here. Yeah, it's standing. It's like the song from Elton John. I'm still standing. No! Damn it. I need to get used to this. I need to get used to this. It's just that. And all the players are just like, everything got decimated. But okay, I mean, I can use this to showcase some ideas and plans, right? So that's all fine, and then these things happen. That's fine. So I'm just like going to generate like a random tree times hexagonal tile that we are going to, you know, just like combine right now. And there we go. Okay, there we go. So they are now combined. So what will, let's say, happen in a situation like this, right? In a situation like these, these are going to become like water tiles. So the map is gonna get started. The map is gonna be able to get filled like super easily, right? And this is like now in a natural block from this player. They are not able to reach the this player like as easily as they could. Like they need to spend like 2 more turns to go around instead of like just going here, which is fine. But this is a thing where you can like influence a lot of the board state, because let's say you have a tile. I'm just gonna make another random tile in order to showcase this. There we go. We move this here. So a player would like to place a tile here, which means that all of these are gonna become water tiles, right? So you're going to be able to fill the board relatively fast. And there might be a scenario where there are no longer any additional tiles that you might want to place. I would continue this, because like in patch history, which really has a cool mechanic, you can basically like you can put tiles over other tiles that you draft, and you can just like cover up your bonuses or maybe expand the person you don't need anymore in that game, right? So what happens there is that you, let's say, have a board that has some tiles. You can place a tile here, but since it's a singular tile, it's going to take a lot of your space, right? So you can basically take another 2x2 tile, and you can just like put it over. You're going to lose the bonuses that are on the card that is below, but you're going to get new bonuses based on what you take. So in theory, like, which could be interesting, if you would get, let's say, a tile that gives you, let's say, 3 forests, and you really want those 3 forests, you're gonna be able to slot them into your empire, and they will be able to cover up some other different things, right? So now you would go like hardcore into industry. So this is starting to look like super disorganized. It's kind of going a little bit on my nerves. So I'm gonna flip the table. I mean, this looks cool. I like it. There are things that we already defined, like, which is like super nice. But let's start a little bit from scratch. There we go. Fall down. Fall down like my dreams. And I will never be able to see you again. Okay, so let's generate a new table, which is perfectly fine. And, like, can we delete this text? Oh yeah, we can erase. We can erase this. That's nice. That's fine. So let's get it a little bit back into the notebook. So, okay, we defined some ideas. We defined what we want to do. We defined what potential victories might be. So, what do we want to do with these, like, crucial objectives, right? So, these crucial objectives might be interesting to players because they might provide the following thing. Objectives. I might sneeze. Bonus objectives. So bonus objectives might basically be the following. Whenever you achieve them, you can reveal them. They count towards your objective victory. That's the first thing. They vary. Actually, I'm gonna make a list right now based on like some of the ideas that I might have about them. But what I also wanted to do here is... Oh, okay, so that's the idea. Okay, I have an idea for another, like, special building. This is going to be like the main hall. You can use this to draft additional bonus resources. Sorry, not resources, bonus objectives. So you draw 3, you pick at least 1. So you might get super... Actually, I don't I'm not sure that's really good. Because with this, like, you could get like 3 super easy ones and finish like in round 2. You don't want this. You pick 1. Like, this is going to happen. So you kind of need to have like either 2 main halls or 3 main halls in order to get additional bonus objectives to be able to complete them and finish the game. Now, objectives might be control 6 farms. How do we want to call that? I'm actually not gonna give names to the cards individually right now. Control, I don't know, 5 mountains. Control 4 lake tiles. Technically, you can spread influence over them, they just don't provide you with any value. So, like, you could do this. Have a church. Control 5 forests. Okay, we got that. So, what could be the next ones? What could be the next ones? Like, control 3 barracks. Control 3 defense... No, control 2... Yeah, 3 defensive towers. Control 2 stables. We could have this. Improve 4 tiles. So these are some of the bonus objectives they can have. Apparently, I mean, I will add additional ones. And this is all like the design process. I will try to like get stuff ready for the next game so I can like do some scripting. Maybe showcase like what occurs when cards are drafted, generate tiles like that. I might actually like save it for the stream in order to say how I approach balance. Like, hopefully that's cool. So we got this. They can be drafted via the main hall building. You can invest resources to draft cards. Maybe. Maybe. Have 20 gold. Have 30 food. Have 15 resources. I'm just gonna call it wood. I'm just gonna call it wood. Like it's basically like what it is. Resources are a little bit convoluted because we have gold, food, and wood. Like, let's just call it wood in order to evade any potential confusion, right? Okay. So we kind of have some ideas that we can start thinking about how to balance, how to approach, how to maybe, let's say, improve. So let's say what we kind of mentioned that we have worker placement, but I still didn't work. I still kind of didn't work that out. And honestly, like, considering the game and where we're going to it, I kind of don't feel like we even need a worker placement. So we're gonna eliminate that mechanic. We have players that are going to be able to move their meeples. They're going to be able to influence tiles that they want to generate resources from. You're going to have to like have armies in order to spread your influence to get more stuff. We kind of don't need worker placement in the traditional sense, and like I'm just like gonna completely like delete that from the design. I don't feel like we need it. So we have exploration, we have generation of tiles, we have the auctions, we have objectives that might give resources. We have different victory types, so you're basically always on a race against other players like this. This is good because because it brings tension. It can open opportunities, like create dangers. So this could be a good thing. We'll think about it, we'll see about it. So yeah, tiles are okay, good. They provide resources, infrastructure, military resources. We can build on them, we can improve. We kind of already mentioned that, so we don't need to duplicate our words. We define the phases of the turn order. So one thing that I kind of didn't touch is combat. I would like to have combat between players, but I'm not sure like how it's going to, you know, occur right now. So what are the numbers that you have that represent your combat value? What are the ways in which combat occurs? Like, are you going to lose troops? Do you need to rebuild those troops? Are you going to just like fall back and exert less influence? Is the player who has more strength than you going to be able to influence the tiles that are in contact with you and basically just like steal your resources? Like, that's something that I kind of want to design. Like, let's actually do that. I think that like we can go into combat right now. So players start with power 1, right? Defensive structures provide you with, we already mentioned that somewhere, like it's +2, right? Yeah, it's +2. Right, with +2 power. Each additional unit is worth +1 power. So you can group up units. You can send like 3, maybe 4 units. You can get some insane power scaling going on. You can also like build a defensive tower around the main objective on the map and just like try to defend it while all the other players kind of pile up on you. Let's see, like we can see how that can, I see already like how that could be a little bit of an issue, because if you get a tile there and you place like 2 defensive structures, that's not gonna be able to be breached, and you're guaranteed to win in 3 rounds unless someone pulls basically like a miracle and they either destroy your towers. That's actually a mechanic that I might want to, that's actually a mechanic that I want to try and maybe make as a failsafe. Yeah, we'll think about it. Barracks give you, whoops, additional units. When defeated, units might respawn at the barracks. Yeah, that works. That works. I think that's fine. I'm just like, sorry, I just like set up my camera right now. I'm so laid back in my chair, and it kind of the tracking didn't start catching me all that well. So okay, what are we doing next? What are we doing next? So this basically like how combat goes. If you find some like special tiles that like I might like make them, pre-generate them, that give you some additional things like objectives that you take, give you power, or additional resources. I think that could go a long way, like in the game balancing itself out, right? Also, yeah, let's do this. Like let's actually make another tile. I have an idea for a tile. Like, oh, this could be so cool. Okay, this could be so cool. I think this is a really interesting one. So basically, special tiles can also have this meteor strike. So basically what this does is that you can destroy or cover a tile from an opposing player. Okay, so here's the thing, like, a player has the following thing. Like, I mean, I'm now just like generalizing, really. I'm like generalizing this a lot right now, but I want to showcase you what I mean by this. Let's just like flip this. Yeah, that works, like, right? That works. And let's just like combine these. So maybe someone was actually able to like build a tower here, and they're using it to defend some crucial area that's generating them a lot of value on the board. That's going to be able to like just get them insane value, right? So we're gonna take a chess rook, and we're going to like allow... No, I don't want to do that. Okay, cool. So this like represents a tower from another player, like maybe a meteor strikes, and you are able to like just cover up their you're able to cover up their building and maybe like destroy their tile. Like that could be like so scummy, and I love it. Come on, place it. There we go. So you can basically do that and screw over other players. I think that's actually an interesting mechanic. I would like to have it. I think it could just like simply be super fun, right? Okay. So where are we now? So we are making tiles. We have ideas for like how we want the game to progress, what are the balance points, how players reach in, how players organically should gameplay, like reach conflict, contact, opportunities, stuff like that. I think the next thing that I would like to try and address, like, what is the timer for the game? Like, I mentioned that I would kind of like to have a cultural victory. A victory that's going to be able to, you know, like showcase, oh, look at all the wonders that I built. Look at what I've created. Like the bonfire. Editor, you will put the bonfire, like, GIF. You know the one that I'm talking about. Look at what I've created. You basically do that, and like, after a certain amount of turns, you're the player who kind of generated the most value, and you automatically win. So how do I want to balance that out? Like, what's the ideal timing that I want to work around that? So I kind of like now have these ideas, right? Because I know that like a player, based on like whether he has resources, he can get to the center of the board really quickly. I kind of know that optimal way for a player to reach center is 3 turns, right? So I'm terribly sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna showcase that right now. Wait, it's not 3 turns. What am I? I'm hallucinating. I'm starting to lose my mind. Okay, so first turn, second turn, third turn. Maybe they get a stables. Okay, so they can reach the center in 4 turns. Yeah, 3 turns was way too less. Maybe like 1, 2, 3. Technically, maybe in 4, but like, I don't think it's gonna be possible. I don't think it's gonna be possible because of the resources. When it starts to balance things out, people can maybe like play around that, stop you from taking a style that's gonna just allow you to get an insane tempo. So I'm gonna like say that like the optimal way for a player to reach the center are going to be 4 turns. They're going to be 4 turns, right? Additionally, you are going to need to like set up some things that are going to be able to give you the bonus objectives that if you accomplish them, you are going to win. So you would start the game with 1 bonus objective, like 1 bonus objective. Now here's the thing, whenever you draw objectives, it's not really sure you're gonna get the ones you're looking for. So you might need to adapt your build in order to be able to achieve some of them, and that might hurt you in the long end. Additionally, I kind of want to have the bonus objectives and maybe like as a bluff mechanic, because you might have accomplished 2 bonus objectives, but you don't want to, you know, show to the other players that you've done that in order to make a huge target on yourself. Like, they can start piling up on you, they can start to steal your resources, influence area around the things that you've done, and you can basically just like get completely blocked from doing your last objective. I would kind of make it mandatory that you cannot just like open with everything at the same time and win like when playing Rummy, right? You have those types of players in Rummy who are just like, I don't have anything, I don't have anything, I don't have anything, and then just like, poof, they flush you like, and you're just like you're thrown out on the street like in your underpants, right? So those Rummy players are actually really dangerous. You really need to take care of them. Coincidentally, I'm one of them. I really like to play Rummy. Okay, so yeah, I kind of want to have this an idea as a bluff mechanic, that you could just like, oh, I don't have anything, I don't have anything. Okay, I'm a lot closer to the victory, but I don't want you to be able to do this in like 1 turn, right? So let's say optimal way would be, if things are really good, if you have resources, if prophecies went your way, I would kind of say that this would maybe be like 6 turns. Like, I'm kind of generalizing a lot right now, and I'm just like thinking a lot of the things that are kind of like the organic processes in my mind and brain right now. I'm thinking about like how much this game would actually last, because considering everything that we saw right now, it could be a little bit faster. Like, it just like could explode. You could get like super fast games. This could be a filler game that you like play for 40 minutes until you just like start playing some more serious or time-consuming game, like. And I would be kind of fine with that. I like fast games. I like when things are fast-paced. And maybe I'm kind of like instinctively designing towards a fast-paced game because, you know, it could be fun to just like, you know, hey, do you want to play this? Like, it's gonna like take 30 minutes. Sure, let's try it out. And you get like, oh, this is actually really interesting. So, additionally, so right now, you get in the center in 4 turns. And if you, whoops. And if you hold the center for 3 turns, you win. So you basically can turn on... you can win on turn 7. Like, that's cool. That's cool. I think that's a nice number. And also, like, the bonus objectives, people are going to know that you are drafting them. So that's also another thing. Like, the players are gonna go instinctively towards the center, and you know what their tactic is, and you can start to react to them. React to that player, right? Coincidentally, if someone starts drafting bonus resources, objective bonus cards, you know what they're kind of trying to accomplish. You don't know what they might have, but you can start playing a bit more aggressively towards them in order to slow them down, to allow yourself to do something. Now, of course, some of these strategies like might be more stronger in like when 3 players are playing, when 2 players are playing, when 4 players are playing, stuff like that. Like, that's not the balance that I'm gonna talk about right now. I'm going over what I want to be as a core mechanics, as the fundamental idea of how this game should work, in my opinion, like, because I'm designing it, of course, right? So you could win here, like, technically on turn 7. With bonus objectives, if you get super lucky, you might win maybe, let's say, on turn 6. But I would say that the game, like, has a limit, that it should be finished on, like, turn 10 max. Because I think that, like, everything is going to open really fast. you're going to be able to like play a little bit fast paced. There are things that are just like very easily generated. You generate already a predefined amount of resources. You know the stuff that are gonna happen. Like, this can be fast paced, and I want to kind of optimize towards it. I don't want this to like drag to 3 to 4 hours. I want this to be like an experience that you can set up and maybe like even play and finish in 2 hours tops, right? So you open a game, you set up the board, which should be like super easy, like games like Cascadia, games like, let's say, Patchwork, stuff like that. It could be set up really easily, and I think that's just like a good ease of access, because when you're limited on time, games that are faster, that are unpacked faster and packed fast, are just like natural things that you're gonna, you know, lean towards when optimizing your like fun time. So you unpack the game, let's say it takes like 10 minutes tops. Like, it shouldn't be more than that. You set up everything, you set up the starting positions, everything, you play the game. Let's say that each player like spends a, like, let's say 2 to 3 minutes on a turn, right? So that's gonna be optimally 6 players. So 6 times 3, that's gonna be 18 minutes times 10. Like, okay, that can be like 3 hours, but that's like in 6 players. No, wait, what am I doing? Like, no, that is not how math works. Wait, what the, what? Wait, 18 times 10 is 180, which is 180 minutes, which is 3 hours. Like, math on stream. Damn, like, this was the curse, right? That was like, as soon as I figured out that I wrote like 180 hours, I was just like, no, what the hell am I doing right now? Okay, so like this would maximally, this could like maximally like run for like what, 3 hours. That's kind of fine, but I don't want it. I mean, sure, when you know a game, you're gonna play it faster. You're gonna think about. I think this is a little bit too optimistic. I think this game might like last a little bit longer even. Like, I'm thinking about like all of the things that happen. So you have upkeeps, they happen simultaneously. Is that how you write that? I think it is. I'm not a native English speaker. Okay, so you have upkeep, you have tile placement. Usually it can be done simultaneously, but like in turn order, because no, this happens in turn order. Then what did we say? We had oh yeah, we had the auction phase. This could generate a bit of friction. This could like try. Okay, this. I see like that the players can spend like a couple of minutes on this. Optimally, of course. Okay, then the influence phase. You take tiles. Wait, what did I say? Take tiles nearest to them. No. That's not that. That's not that. That's not that. Yeah, okay. This is how it goes. This is how it goes. Then we have the movement phase, and then we have combat. Okay, so... Nah, I kind of feel like, yeah, this could be like... maybe 2 to 3 hours. Now that I think about it, it could be okay. I say it's fine. I say it's fine. Like, of course, when you think about these, you're kind of always going to, you know, optimally think about, okay, my players know what the game is. They are devising their strategies. They are not using their phones for like checking Instagram and all the stuff like that. Speaking of which, you can follow me on Instagram and X if you like, or you can join the Discord server, right? Where we can like keep in contact, maybe discuss design, discuss ideas, stuff like that. All the good stuff, right? So you are never accounting for the fact like how this is going to be to new players. Your target audience are usually people who already experience board games, to whom this is a little bit more like intuitive. They get things a little bit faster just because they're in that world. And you kind of like, right, okay, this game can be like finished in 2 hours, but if all of the players know what they're doing. So yeah, I actually like think this could be fast. I mean, a lot of this is just like speculation, right? But some actions, especially on the start, you might just like go bullet. You might like just bullet chest through them, right? Spend a little time. I realize where it can get complicated, but I think it's actually fine. I think this is fine. No, I think this is pessimistic. I think this is a little bit pessimistic. Like, this game kind of, in my opinion, has a potential to be fast. So I'm gonna say, like, on average, that the turn for each player, for each of the players in a round equals 15 minutes. Like, I'm gonna say, like, that's what happens, right? So we have potentially 10 rounds times 15. That's going to be 150 minutes, which is going to be 2.5 hours. Okay, I can deal with this. I can deal with this. I think this is better. I think this is better. I think this is a little bit more like optimistic, and not necessarily optimistic, but realistic. Okay, maybe wasted too much time on this, but like, sorry, I took a deep dive here into the math a little bit. Okay, so combat. We kind of also like have combat. So okay, let's just cover up basically whatever we did. We devised the mechanics that we want to use. That's the first thing, and that's like the first and foremost. Then we decided what kind of board we want to use. We decided how the turns are going to take order. We decided what the victory condition is. We decided these are the games that I'm inspired from in order to try and make something like this, right? So the tiles, what are the tiles? What are the options? Some special things I might add. I'll see what I can do about that. The builds and improvements, like bonuses, what happens when you influence an area, what happens if you improve it, what happens if you have a certain type of building on it, right? So we also have that. Prophecy cards, like, okay, they could be bonuses, they could be like something that just like happens. Additionally, like, these could also be like negative. You can like really screw over with someone. You have a church, you're able to influence the prophecy cards, and you say like all armies are now -2, and you're basically annulled. Like, they cannot take the influence from you. You either like share or just like fight over them. You take over the center. That's something that can happen. Like that. This also might be one mechanic that you can use in order to bar players from like holding a certain spot, like the middle, for like three rounds and insta win with like 2 defensive towers, right? You might maybe like rummage in and try to find a card that says like spontaneous combustion, right? And someone's building just explodes. Like, editor, you're going to put on, I'm going to give you an opportunity to showcase your skills, that a player has a building and I want you to make this chess piece explode. So right now I'm gonna flicker it and make an explosion. Boom. There we go. Okay, back to the notebook. So you have buildings that you can build, you can take over them, like the church, stables, barracks, maybe even stuff like that. Bonus objectives that you can accomplish, how the combat works. like what's the timing around, like how much we want the game to last, how long could the game last in real time, right? So I think this was a really good start. I think this was a really good start for like starting to design a game from scratch. And for next time, which is going to be next Thursday, I am going to delve a little bit more into Tabletop Simulator. I'm going to see if I can catch up on maybe some like scripts, ways that I can generate the tile, maybe optimize the board so it isn't like so clunky, making you know, tiles and all of that. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you had a fine time. As always, if you like this content, don't forget to like, share, and sub on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, X. Join me on the Discord. Like, it really helps the channel grow. So hopefully we can have many more streams and we can have much more fun. Until then, my friends, bye.